Fáilte. Today we are going to be talking about some sites that are associated with the Morrigan, and this is a very common question that comes up, so I'm just going to, obviously there's a lot to it and I'm not going to be able to get into it hugely in depth, but I can absolutely give you a brief rundown of the primary sites that are associated with the Great Queen in Ireland. So there are a couple that are outside of Ireland, but I actually think that they're less the Morrigan specifically and more like the Cailleach generally, like the Corryvrecka Whirlpool just in Scotland. But we're just going to stick to Ireland for now. And we're going to start with the primary one, which is Cruachan or Uvnagach, which is the Cave of the Cats, which is anglicised as Oí na Gath, and it is in Rathcroghan or Cruachan in County Roscommon. So this is the royal site of the complex of sites, really, of the Western Province of Ireland, and there is a huge history of ritual, ceremony, inauguration, burial, all the kind of spiritual practices that our ancestors would have been doing pretty much from when Ireland was first kind of occupied. Like, there have been Mesolithic remains, so we're talking way back 8,000–9,000 years ago. Mesolithic remains found, up and around Rathcroghan. So we know that, our hunter-gatherer ancestors, before they even settled down for farming, were up and around there. Now, we don't have ritual associations from then, obviously, but we do have very early archaeology which puts like agriculture and ancestry right side by side. So we know that spiritual practices up there was of primary importance, and there's a huge amount more. I do have a class on the royal sites of Ireland that you can find at the Irish Pagan School if you're interested in Rathcroghan generally, and I also have a book which you can find on Amazon, so do go and look those things up. I'll put links down below. But for today, we're just going to talk about Cruachan. And she means, it has come to mean, the she has come to mean the people of the mounds, the people of the other world, the fairies, basically. But originally, it was the name for the actual mounds, the tumuli that were associated with the other world, were entrances to the other world. So there may or may not have been a mound over the cave at some point in its history, or prehistory probably. But currently what we have is a man-made cave. It's a natural cave that has been enhanced with man-made work, structuring, all the rest of it. So it's a natural limestone cavern that was river cut originally. The whole region is limestone, so there's a lot of those kind of caves in that around. But we know that this one was used specifically because there was a circle of stones around it, which unfortunately only has not survived. We know it was there up until around the 1800s, and currently what we have is just looks like a little hole in the ground. When you look at photographs of it, it's not very impressive just from the outside, but when you do go down inside it, it gets a lot more impressive. So I do have actually some video footage, and there's a little playlist on this channel for a visit, just little like documentary style video in a series. I think it's about 9 short videos, so you can go and check that out if you want to have a look at that. And again, I'll put links to that below. So just down the road from that is Sliabh Bán in Strokestown in County Roscommon, and this mountain is specifically associated with the Badb. And I'm not going to go into much else as regards to Morrigan's sisters or the other names or the other faces or the other aspects of the Morrigan, however you want to look at it. But I will mention the Badb because it is in such close proximity to the Rathcroghan complex, and it's very much on the boundary as well. There is a natural energy boundary. When you come in through Strokestown, you can really feel it. Well, I can really feel it, having lived there for a very long time, and I know others have as well. And the mountain is definitely a part of that. And just as an aside, there was a great hullabaloo a couple of years back when I was still living up there, and because they were going to put wind turbines up on it, and like, oh, it's going to be destroying the archaeology, and it's such a, you know, mythologically rich landscape and all the rest of it. And honestly, when you go up there, it just looks like big wings on the top of the mountain, and I think it's absolutely perfect for Badb. So that's my opinion on it. So we're going to go from there. There's just a little aside, actually, another little aside I want to. There is mention of Ross Baiva, which is the wood of Badb, and there's no kind of indication as to where that might be in modern kind of geographical terms, right? So I have a theory that because we have Badb's Mountain there and Ross is the original, so Roscommon is the county, and it's Roscommon, who Common was, so which means the wood of Common, and Common was an early Christian bishop. I have a theory, and it is very much my theory. I have a theory that we might have had Ross Badb as the original name of that area, or part of that area that was changed or taken over or something. But I think that the old Ross connection is probably to the county of Roscommon, and the wood of Badb is probably located, or was probably located, somewhere within the county. So that is a working theory, that's all. Still on the Badb, we have Inish Baiva, which is Boa Island. Now that's right up in the other kind of side of right up in the north, in Ulster. So that is in Fermanagh, County Fermanagh, and there is strong Badb associations up there. I believe we're going to be going there, so you might get some video footage. There's a tour coming in with Wolves, Witches, Warbands tour with Lancy Sky Travel. So we are going to take a visit up there, as far as I know. So I'll try and capture some video footage and grab that for the YouTube channel as well. And I'll probably be doing Instagram lives. I don't have Facebook on my phone. I'll probably do Instagram lives. So if you want to follow me, I'm at Your Irish Connection on Instagram. And you might get notification of us going live up there, or live anywhere around Ireland actually in the next couple of weeks, because we're going to be away traveling. So tune in for that, and definitely subscribe to this channel and hit the bell for notification. I do try and post on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, and I have set up a schedule so that while I'm away traveling, that will continue. But I might do some random YouTube lives as well. So definitely hit the bell for notifications and subscribe to the channel so that you get notice of when we are going live around Ireland. So from there, we're going to go back down a little bit to the River Unshin in Sligo. And Morrigan is very connected to water generally, but there aren't kind of rivers, and rivers aren't named after her, like Shannon, the Shannon, and Boan, the Boyne, and various other ones. And I think it's because there's she's not like the source of those rivers. There's specific mythology around those rivers that those goddesses or ancestral figures, or mythological figures, where have a different kind of association. When we see the Morrigan in connection to the rivers, and we do regularly, rivers and fords and water, jumping back a little bit to the cave of the cats, Uvnagach, she Cruachan, she changes, she performs magic and uses water, changes a woman into water who's been stealing her cattle, or Udress that is, and it's a whole other story. Anyway, I think she's been stealing. There's cattle rustling going on, basically, but this Udress gets turned into a pool of water, which is in and around the cave. So there's water connections, there's magic going on, definitely. And we're back at the River Unshin, which is in County Sligo, which is known as the bed of the couple. And this is where Morrigan and Dagda would have lain together in their marital bed, maybe their annual meeting. but the Dagda is asking the Morrigan for help and prophecy with regard to the forthcoming battle of Moitura. So there is that, and again, it's a very different kind of relationship that she has with rivers. She's seen, in that particular tale, she's seen straddling the river and unloosing 9 tresses. And again, I believe that there's strong magical connections there with weaving and plaiting and her, her hair in plaits. I think that there's definitely something going on there that that has gotten a little bit lost in translation, or lost the knowledge of. If you want to know more, I know I'm going through this pretty quickly. If you want to know more on any of this, please do comment below, because I'm going to try and do Morrigan videos at least once a week. And I have got a couple of comments and questions lined up, so I am taking them from the YouTube comments. So do comment below and ask any questions, and I will see what the most popular ones are and make videos on those. Okay. So we also see her connected to fords and rivers with through her interaction with Cuchulainn in the Táin Bocúne. And again, that's kind of, she's moving through the water at that point. She's shapeshifting. She's turned into an eel. She's a she-wolf. She's a heifer. And again, a very different kind of relationship with water. She is part of the water, or in charge of the water, or she's definitely not being kind of consumed by the water, as we see with other deities in stories. And later on, there is a kind of a death tale. I think it's a much later, like medieval or even early modern death tale of Cuchulainn, which sees the Badb washing his armor before battle, washing his bloody armor before battle in a ford, and that becomes the ford of the washing. And that's probably a memory, a kind of a crossover between the she figure, who would be the washer at the ford, and the banshee, who would be, fairy woman, who's ancestral figures. And I think all those stories got kind of mixed up, and that's one of the places that the Morrigan / Banshee Association is coming from. But again, it's some kind of a remnant of her connection with water, or working with water. So those are the kind of physical locations. The other one that we have is Girth na Morrigan, which is the field or the garden of the Morrigan. And it's said in the stories that the Dagda gifts this to her, and we're mentioning the Dagda again, and he is given as her husband and she his wife. And there's also the Dáithíoch na Morrigan, which is the 2 breasts of the Morrigan, or the 2 paps of the Morrigan, which are different. I had this question in a different video, which are different from the paps of Anu. The paps of Anu are in Kerry, and may or may not be connected to the Morrigan through Anu, who is given as one of her names in one of the stories. But they are different from Dáithíoch na Morrigan, which are in the Boyne Valley, quite near to Brúna Báine, Newgrange, She an Bróga, which is the Dagda's primary residence, let's call it, even though he loses it later. So they're side by side. So that's an interesting one as well, that you have her connected to a representation in the landscape with him, which could have like fertility or certainly sovereignty aspects going on, or elements going on. And then the Girth na Morrigan, again, we don't really know where that is, but we have that reference to it being given to her by the Dagda. And again, this is kind of, hot take, as Blind Boy would say. I wonder, is that a representation of Ireland, in that, she's being given, the Dagda is very much kind of concerned with looking after the people, looking after the tribe and all the rest of it, but she's been given this field or this garden to tend, and it's a kind of a bigger picture element or aspect to her work, maybe with Ireland and with the sovereignty of Ireland. I don't know, maybe. There could be an actual field somewhere or a garden somewhere that is specifically the Morrigan's field or the Morrigan's garden. Unfortunately, we've lost that knowledge. So those are the kind of primary ones. If you think I've left anything out, I haven't talked about Fulloch na Mórrigan because they're not exactly like places, sites, as in landscape features associated with her. But, you know, they do deserve an honorary mention. But if you think I've left anything out, or if you have any questions or comments or theories of your own, please comment below. And as I said, do like and subscribe because we've got some traveling around Ireland coming up and I think you might be interested in it. So, slán go fóill, and I will see you in the next video.